What's up everyone, it's Carrie aka Nerdygirlcreates. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a special video because it's a topic I really wanted to talk about. It's been a while since I've discussed anything related to Marvel or DC. If you have been following me since the beginning, I used to go into a lot of news stories regarding Marvel and DC. I used to look at a lot of back issues for Marvel and DC. But because of my frustration with where they were going with the stories, I kind of like just dropped reading new Marvel and DC. Recently, I started to take a chance on a few issues here and there. Um, and there is this one series from Marvel I really wanted to talk about. One of the things that has really frustrated me with the big two, especially Marvel, is how they are trying to introduce diversity into comics. Now, is diversity needed? Yes. Has there been an abundance of white male characters through the years? Yes. Um, should Marvel DC introduce diverse characters? Yes. But my problem is, and this goes mostly for Marvel, is that they have handled it very poorly. um, you might remember the all new, all different Marvel, which was probably what started to lead me to stop reading all new comics. Uh, it was an abundance of changes to well established characters by mantle swapping them to other characters who were diverse and didn't have the appeal, in my opinion, as much as the main characters. Do I feel like mantle swapping is a bad thing overall? Not always. It does work. I mean, you can go back through history and look at a few examples. You've had Wally West Flash. I think that's the most popular one to use. I think Bucky's run when he was Cap was actually well handled. It was never meant to be like a long-term thing, but I think it was an opportunity for the character to find redemption and to learn to be a hero after everything he went through. But I think Marvel just does it too much. And instead of like focusing on a lot of the diverse characters that have existed and trying to push them forward and give them the spotlight and put great artists and great writers on it, they take the easy route and just kind of like bank on a popular name. And it frustrates the hell out of me. It does. I mean, as much as I didn't like the Shang-Chi movie, I have to say at least they did give Shang-Chi a chance in the movies. But I want to see more like that in the comics and movies. And when I do see a book come out that is pushing new and even established original diverse characters, I want to give it a chance. And today I want to talk about a book called Tiger Division. Now, a couple years back, you might remember the latest run of Agents of Atlas. And Agents of Atlas focused on Jimmy Woo leading a team of all Asian superheroes from different parts of the Asian continent. Some of them were established characters, some of them were new, some of them, of course, had mantle swaps, and I'll give you the two examples, which was Amadeus Cho's Hulk, who he changed the name to Brawn, and Silk, who is a Korean American version of a female Spider-Man. Um, but they had other characters in there that were brand new. You had White Fox, for example, and you had Luna Snow. I thought it started off as a really good execution, but then it kind of like fell off as it got near the end, and it kind of didn't really get a chance to be tied up. I felt like it pretty much got put on the back burner for other reasons. But when I saw that they were going to do Tiger Division, I was really interested to see how they were going to do this. Now, Tiger Division focuses on a team of all Korean superheroes. And they include some familiar faces, including White Fox and Luna Snow. But they're also joined by some other characters. Maybe you might have seen them before, maybe you haven't. The first one, his name is Taiwan. I think I said that right. I do apologize. I'm not doing it to be insulting. I'm just not the best at pronouncing certain types of names. I know there's different pronunciations, and I hope to God I'm doing it right. I always have to apologize for this. If you watch my manga reviews, you'll know. So Taiwan, who they also call the leader, which is a odd choice. Now I know he's supposed to be the leader of this group, but you already have a character in the Marvel Universe who's a villain that goes by that name. So it was kind of like surprising they didn't really give him like an interesting name like everybody else on the team has. The best way I can describe this character is Korean Superman. Okay, flies, super strength. The opening is of him stopping a ship that's on fire from crashing into a park. Um, there's a lot of mystery about his origins. It's a little confusing, and I'll get into that later. But that's pretty much the best way to explain him as Korean Superman. Now the next one is Mr. Enigma. He is a demigod who he looks older than everybody else. I would say probably late 40s, 50s maybe. I could be wrong. He's got a scar across his eye. You know, he's dressed very casually compared to everybody else who has their own super hero costumes. He likes to drink, he likes to party. It's kind of a much of a cliche when it comes to like that certain type of character who just rebellious and, doesn't want to fit in like the Lethal Weapon Mel Gibson characters. The next character is General, who is a robot, I think. And again, I'll explain later why I'm a little confused on some of the stuff. Then of course there's White Fox. If you remember her with Agents of Atlas, she was a government agent who has these abilities. Luna Snow is a K-pop star who accidentally got the abilities of controlling ice, kind of like Iceman, but she kind of does it in a more interesting way because Iceman hasn't been interesting in years, unfortunately. Then the next character is called Ante, and I think she's a magic user. I'm not, again, really confused on what she can do. And then the last one is Gun R2, who also seems like he's like kind of like a vigilante type. Again, it's kind of like you don't, and this is my first problem with this, and this is why I want to talk about why this book doesn't do diversity well for new original characters. You need to hire somebody who can really write these characters well, and if you're introducing a team for the first time, you've got to act like this is the first time these people are being introduced to these characters. I have knowledge about Luna Snow. I have knowledge about White Fox. I don't have too much knowledge about the other ones. The only one who seems to get any kind of hints of development in this is Taiwan, the Korean Superman, and even that is a bit confusing. Um, they go into like he keeps seeing, I think it's his dead grandmother, and he ends up going back to his home where I guess she raised him, and he opens a box and he finds a flag, which is the Korean flag that he was wrapped in, and it goes back to the Korean War. And this is where things get confusing because he looks like he's probably like 19, maybe 20. And he was a baby during this time. So I'm guessing he's maybe immortal or he doesn't age. I don't know. It's not really explained. You just see his mother running across a battlefield, almost getting shot by the North Koreans. And she dies, and the baby lays on the ground for a couple nights until this woman finds him. And that's pretty much all you get. Now, I get they're trying to create some intrigue here and trying to get you to really be invested in wanting to know more about this character, but I kind of just left it thinking, okay, and what about it? My other thing is in the opening, yes, you get the scene with the ship and they stop the ship. But then something happens off panel, and this is another problem I have with this comic is certain types of things that happen need to be on page for readers. And this is White Fox has gathered the team in a room and she's explaining to them about how one of their warehouses got robbed and something was took. Now, it would have been nice to kind of see that happen, kind of get a hint on who might be involved without maybe giving away too much. But they don't. They do it off panel. And then there's this cheesy Scooby Doo moment where General says to her, "Well, why don't we just follow the footprints?" And you're kind of like, "Wait, what?" And he points outside the window to the sidewalk, and there are purple footprints. Yeah. yeah, it's you don't get any introduction to any type of villain. You don't get any kind of on-panel thing that is keying you into what the ongoing plot might be or what's going on with it. It's pretty much the ship moment. Then right after they save the ship, there's this awkward exchange between Taiwan and Auntie. I think I said that right. Where suddenly when he's asking her, well, what set the ship on fire? I think he says like a bomb, and she goes, no, it was a kitchen fire. They were cooking ramen. And then they start getting into this conversation about ramen. It felt really out of place and kind of, dare I say, a little inappropriate. It kind of was like, okay, so we're going to talk about ramen. We're not going to talk about like, is everybody safe, or like, I don't know. It kind of like came out of left field and didn't feel right. And I kind of feel like, why are we always talking about ramen when we're talking about Asian characters? Okay, again, it didn't feel appropriate for this. And again, the other part was the Scooby Doo moment with the footsteps outside. But between that opening and them at the end hunting down whoever possibly stole stuff from them, the only other moment you get is this flashback of Taiwan looking at when he was a baby in the Korean War. Now, does he have those memories? I mean, because he was a baby. I mean, he was swaddled and wrapped up in a blanket, and unless he's just remembering what the grandmother told him. But there's nothing there either to indicate he was special, except that he survived laying on the road for 3 days. I think it's 3 days. There's nothing to kind of like say, look, he's got superpowers. Now, your two most recognizable characters, if you did really want to bank on them, which was Luna Snow and White Fox, don't really do much in this. The opening, you do get Luna Snow using her ice powers to kind of cool out the fire in the ship. White Fox is more like the government agent assigned to look over this team. She doesn't even appear in costume at all in this. She comes in like a business outfit, and that's all you get. My other problem is I don't feel like these characters represent their culture as much as they should. I know that's a weird thing to say, but when I read the dialogue in this and when I hear them talk, it's very Americanized. There's nothing like referencing like maybe their own culture or lifestyle in a way that suits the story. The ramen reference doesn't fit, in my opinion, with this type of culture. I mean, yes, I know ramen is very popular amongst Asians, but I always saw ramen as more of a Japanese style of food. I don't know if I'm not relaying this right, but it just seemed like the writer didn't know much about or didn't know how to write these characters in a way that they represent where they're from. I mean, they seem very interchangeable with the characters on the other side of the ocean. I it's there's nothing that makes you say, "Oh wow, this is like really a Korean team." Like you don't really get them, like everything is a park in the opening. They're based inside a very bland boardroom style headquarters. And then at the end is them in a warehouse searching for the bad guys and being confronted. Outside of maybe, again, Taiwan, who seems to be the only one who has some kind of development in here, there's like nothing really that makes you feel like, okay, these are characters who are from a certain country, they have a certain outlook, they have a certain belief, yes, Taiwan has like the Korean flag on them. Okay. Uh Luna Snow's a K-pop star. There's nothing really that makes these characters stand out interesting, to be interesting. And it's kind of disappointing. I mean, I wish, if you're going to do this, you really got somebody who can write a damn good story. The art is fine. I didn't have any issues with the art. But Emily Kim was the writer on this, and I know she is of Korean descent, and I believe she's actually was born in Korea. But I just kind of feel like she dropped the ball big time on this. And I think this is an issue again where um Marvel is not hiring the right people for the job. You're not hiring somebody who can give flesh out these characters and get you really interested in who they are, where they come from, what their motivations are for being there. I mean, I know what Luna Stone White Fox is because I got that backstory back in at Agents of Atlas. But you don't really have much here to go on. Like, how did this team come together? Why is this team together? What kind of threat is Korea facing that they need their own Avengers? It it's again like you're not hiring people with the talent to do this correctly, and that's my problem with this comic. This is my problem with a lot of writing, not just about diversity characters. I mean, if you follow me recently on Instagram and Twitter, you saw me rage about what they did to Bucky Barnes. um it's just terrible. I mean, I think they're looking too much at surface value and not actual talent value. And this book could have been great. This book could have really given kids who are looking for Korean superheroes characters to look up to. But I just think it's another ball drop. I think it's just like, here, see, we did it. But we didn't really put much into it. Yeah, so that's Tiger Division #1. And this is what I really wanted to talk about because, again, these are the type of characters who should be getting a spotlight. But they should also be getting talent on working on them. They should really be pushing to say, look, these are new characters, and the reason we want you to get invested in them is because this is what makes them interesting. Okay? They don't need to be called Captain America. They don't need to be called Spider-Man. They don't need to be similar to another famous Marvel character. They are their own thing. They have their own abilities. They have their own look. They have their own personality. But no, Marvel doesn't, once again. Again, that's Tiger Division #1. It's written by Emily Kim. Disappointing. So tell me, have you read Tiger Division? Let me know down below. Is there any brand new diverse characters, stories that you think have been done really well I should check out? Please let me know down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Check out some of my affiliate links down below, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.